Yo, the muse is back. Top 4 bitch on the track. She about to bring it back. And you all better watch your backs. Queens wish they had my spot. They said I will go first. Now I'm laughing from the top.
I want to start with, the big question. So apologies there. But what would a win mean to you? And what would taking the crown represent for the show?
Winning RuPaul's Drag Race and being crowned America's Next Drag Superstar, because I already do feel like I'm America's Next Drag Superstar, we just have to crown it. It would mean so much to me. It would mean so much to my community and the people that I represent, and just the people who feel like an underdog and have always been discredited and discounted. Everything will just, come full circle. Because I tweeted a few years ago, I said, I want to one day win RuPaul's Drag Race. And the fans dug that tweet up the other day. So now I have to stick to that promise and win so that the tweet makes sense.
On the show, you've talked a little bit about, House of Sin and your connections to Dahlia and Aja. What was that experience like, both watching them on the show and how did you kind of learn from that, what you wanted to bring to your season?
With Drag Race, you can study a million times. You can know a lot of girls that have gone into the show. Nothing will ever prepare you for the roller coaster ride that is Drag Race. It is a brand new game every single season, and season 13 was no different. The only thing that I took from home and their advice was just go in there, be yourself, and have a good time. And that's exactly what I did. And I think you can kind of tell watching the show. I'm like, even when I'm in the bottom, I'm like, girl, we're gonna have a good time because we're here. Now I'm not going anywhere. So
yeah, that's great. Well, I mean, that makes me think like, you've been dubbed Kandy the producer muse. I mean, it's a nickname you wear well. Like it's so fun to just watch you in a room with people because you always know the right questions to ask to get the conversation going. You're so invested in what everyone has to say, and I love that about you. And I mean, I wonder, where does that come from? Is that how you are in real life too?
Well, the thing is, while filming, like if I see like the girls are just being like really quiet, I'm like, okay, how can we do it up? I will get a personal thank yous from the storyline producers, like, you know what, thank you for being here. And that's where the name producer Kandy Muse comes from, because I am producing every single step of my life, on the show and off the show. And it's honestly because me producing the way everything is just lets me kind of like create the way people see me and view me. And on the show was no different. I was like, girl, I'm gonna go in here, we're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna ask all the questions.
No, that's the right mentality, because you go on the show and suddenly you're on this huge platform. As you know, everyone's got their opinions they want to share. So you're kind of just putting your best foot forward and controlling your narrative. And that's amazing.
Yeah, there we go. Controlling the narrative.
I guess really speaking of narratives, like that is such a big conversation on the show, but I love how we get to see your story, your arc on the season over time. And I wonder if there's like a specific episode or maxi challenge in particular that really you felt like kind of solidified your story and what we see from you on the show.
I think that definitely at the beginning of the show, I walked in as a hard ass and I knew it all. And, I was the bad bitch from Brooklyn and everyone knows Kandy Muse. But as the show progressed and once we got to the musical, and you kind of saw me struggling a little, it kind of just showed like the human side of me, because I think I'm always so perfect all the time, which is not real and it's not realistic. So once that double Shantae happened between me and Simone, right after that, I kind of just like took it all in, and like I think with the fans, it was like, okay, she's not going anywhere, so now she has to prove why she's still here. And I think from that moment moving forward, kind of solidified my spot, not only in the competition, but in Drag Race history.
What happens after that, when it almost seems like you're going to go, truly just watching your sisters kind of react to the news, and then when you get to walk back to them when they found out you're staying, like everyone is so happy to have you on. And I don't want to jinx anything in any way, but like I feel like you got a pretty strong argument for miscongeniality too. I'm just going to put that out there.
I don't know about miscongeniality, but if there was like a class clown or a producer award, I would 100% win that one.
Okay, that's fair. But
I mean, Tamisha would win miscongeniality for sure.
Oh, sure. Tamisha would not vote. On that note, though, everyone gets so close by the end of this season, as we've seen, and I can't help but think that a lot of that has to do with where we are in the world right now, where we were in the world when you guys came into this. I feel like that really shaped a lot of the interactions. And I wondered, I mean, did it change what you got out of the show?
No, and it's actually been very, very difficult and hard to hide how close the top four really is. We have our own group chat. We since we left filming, we're on FaceTime together every single day up until this point. So we're and even with the entire cast, we're a very close cast. Because of the COVID guidelines on set, it kind of brought us closer together because we couldn't touch anyone else but ourselves. So it's definitely one of the closest casts, I think, on Drag Race ever. And then it's definitely one of the closest top four because we are like sisters.
That video of you guys popping the champagne bottle warmed my heart. How long have you guys been sitting on that video? Has that been?
For a very long time.
Yeah.
Very long time.
The commercial, the branding challenge, your soda, the K special is brilliant. And I mean, you really push the boundaries on what we can do on the show, I think, in a lot of ways.
Listen, the K special was a nod to all the gays back at home in Brooklyn. Because they would know what the K special is. So but that's what drag is. It really is about pushing boundaries. And I know, we can't talk about certain things on television, but doesn't mean I'm not gonna try to cross that line.
And it's so funny. I mean, I can't get out of my head the part where you and the pit crew are like floating around.
And it's the reality of it.
Yeah, that's what it's. You mentioned at one point that you are hoping to use some of your prize money throughout the show to give your mothers a honeymoon, which like warmed my heart. And I wondered, I mean, is that in the works? Is that being planned right now?
Yeah, I'm in the midst of planning it. And that's definitely, I knew that at some point throughout, once I saw like every single girl winning a challenge and every single week the prize was $5,000, I was like, okay, at some point I have to win because my whole plan to get on Drag Race is to have security for myself and my family and just, and really provide for my mom, which, I mean, who doesn't want that? So once I got the opportunity to win the $5,000, I was like, oh, I can stay on the honeymoon that you never went on. So, being an angel of God.
The show, such a huge platform, and one of my favorite aspects of watching it and kind of experiencing it alongside, you guys rewatching the episodes is also seeing all the celebrity, the famous fans like chiming in. And I know like Miley and Ariana have shouted you out. Has there been one that has been like the biggest gag for you that really, really surprised you?
I think that I'm still really gagged over the fact that Edward, the editor-in-chief of British Vogue, is like full on like gagging for me every single time in my DMs. And like, I'm like, this is someone that works with like the biggest celebrities on the planet. And he is fangirling over this little drag queen from the Bronx, New York. But it just goes to show you how big the show and how big Drag Race has gotten. Because now we have these platforms where girls leave the show and go on magazine covers and have amazing careers and work with the most incredible people. So hopefully you're gonna see Kandy Muse on British Vogue at some point.
Something different about this season is that it allowed for us to have judges, amazing judges like T.S. Madison and Lonnie Love and Nicole Byer and Jamal come back a couple times. And I think that that's pretty amazing in that we really get to see them start to know who you guys are and watch that evolution. And I wondered if, from your point of view, if that kind of helped things to have judges that really, you felt like really knew who you were as a queen.
Yeah, at first we were really bummed. We were like, oh, we really want to see like these big celebrities every single weekend. But the thing is, when you have a rotating panel of judges, they really get to know you the same way Ru, Michelle, Carson, and Ross get to know you. And I personally enjoy having a rotating panel of judges. Hopefully Drag Race continues that little situation, because it's one thing to hear a critique from a celebrity who doesn't really know what you're doing, but it's one thing to hear critiques from someone who has seen you multiple weeks in a row and have seen you grow throughout the competition. So I really enjoyed having T.S. Madison, Jamal, Lonnie Love, Nicole Byer. So yeah. Love it.
Yeah, and then Cynthia still got to come in at the end, and you guys had your special moment. Like, she was gorgeous. My God.
Yeah, she was a sweetheart. Especially in Untucked, when I was having another panic attack. She came to check on me. Yeah,
yeah, that was so sweet. We're heading into the finale, And so something that's always in the back of my mind is reveals. And I wonder what's your stance on reveals? Are you pro reveal? And I mean,
I am pro anything and everything as long as it's entertaining. And, you know, I know that a lot of queens go into the grand finale with these amazing out of the world reveals. But I think Sasha Velour did it the best on her season where it was simplistic. It was her brand. And, you know, that's just have to wait and see what happens.
Is it true one size fits all?
Bitch, one size fits most, bitch. I love to eat. You're not gonna fit some.
What do you love to eat?
Bitch, I love to eat dick and hot dogs. Come on, bitch.